when we check in with him. But we still got to wrap up Pomona.
Just start blasting going on for no reason.
You got a homicide, downtown division.
Murder was the case that they gave me.
So we got stabbing and we got guns in Pomona. This doesn't bode well because Gary and Shannon have to go there on the 15th. I already played that. In only 5 days, Pomona has to clean its act up. So we'll start with the stabbing. So a woman was killed, a man was injured. A suspect stabbed them in an unprovoked attack on Saturday in Pomona. Pomona police said the victims were simply standing on the sidewalk at about 2 p.m. Saturday when a man suddenly attacked them with a knife. From what we know, both victims were together on the sidewalk, and the suspect, for no apparent reason, walked up to them and began stabbing both of them, explained Pomona PD spokesman Sergeant John Edson. Investigators say the victims made their way to a nearby homeless shelter where a security guard called 911. They were apparently staying there. And that the suspect has an interaction with the homeless shelter as well. Both suffered multiple stab wounds. The 49-year-old woman died at the hospital, and her 29-year-old companion is being treated and is expected to survive. The suspect fled, but not very far. Police were able to gather information about him from surveillance footage, and he was later just seen in the area, just diddy-bopping around. According to Pomona PD, quote, shortly thereafter, one of our crime scene investigators was leaving the scene and was driving near the crime scene when he spotted an individual that matched the description, close quote. We do have a high population of homelessness in the area who frequent the homeless shelter, but I don't know if that's related to this incident or not. Anyway, the 21-year-old suspect was booked on murder and attempted murder charges. And in TV video that was reportedly seen by KFI's Brian Suits, host of Super Hyper Local Sunday, the guy appeared, quote, weirded out and slightly agitated, close quote, said the famous and beloved talk show host. Jose Alfredo Mancinas, 21, quote, of Pomona, close quote, was booked on suspicion of murder and attempted murder, according to police in LA County booking records. And I don't know, I've never been in a homeless shelter or the Pomona homeless shelter, but do they have metal detectors? Is there a thing? Or can you just, I don't know.
What is this, like the 10th so far this year of homeless people going nuts?
Stabbing people. I mean,
I guess killing in some manner.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good that they're not getting guns or if they're crazy or whatever. But yeah, the apparent tweaking or the flipping of the lid or the bouncing of the gourd, whatever you want to call it, but like crazy homeless guys with knives, crazy hobos with knives, who and Pomona's not Los Angeles, but I just know that there is a general affliction in the closer you get to L.A., there is sort of a general deference to the homeless that they're all just, bankers who just missed a paycheck. There's this idiotic, naive belief that the majority of people who are homeless are there because of mental illness, and that you're providing a gigantic magnet in Los Angeles by just doubling and doubling and doubling the money. If you throw money at a problem, if you pay for a thing, you get more of that thing. I learned that on day one of Econ 101. If you pay for a thing, you get more of that thing. And if you continue paying for homelessness and providing services and hiring your cronies as employees, you just get more homelessness. Now, there's a reason when you enter Yosemite it says don't feed the bears. And, I mean, I don't want to be the heartless son of a bitch on this one, but somebody has to be at some point. Because I have lived in cities where the homeless took over, like Seattle. And then the pushback finally won the city back. Portland, where drug-addicted homeless still rule parts of the city because the people of Portland are just too darn compassionate to admit that they're importing violent, crazy people. Now, here we are in Los Angeles, and because in Southern California we're so dispersed, you don't interact with the reality of it until you get closer and closer to downtown LA. But never mind downtown LA. My daughter and I were in Hollywood for some reason last week. I forgot what the hell it was. But right there on Sunset. That's what it was. We were looking for a Pinkberry. we love the Pinkberry. We won't cheat on it with Menchie's. We go
Wow.
to Pinkberry. So
That's loyalty.
Yeah, right across the street from Pinkberry. And you know what? Of course, we go to the day that they're only taking cash because their system was down. I walk in with $11, and that doesn't even get you a dirty look in Pinkberry.
Can't buy a berry for that.
But across the street are tents on Sunset Boulevard.
Really?
Not, in my day, the homeless just wrapped up in a sleeping bag and soiled themselves. Now they're in tents, and if you go down Cahuenga,
Probably is Cahuenga.
or La Cienega.
La Cienega's got Tent City.
But as you cross over Cahuenga Pass, and like you're going down, I always go down to the CNN building like this. Yeah, I'm going to say Cahuenga. No, it's not Cahuenga. Anyway, whatever it is, there's not a empty spot on the sidewalk because there's so many tents. It's just tent to tent to tent to tent, and it's between like Sunset and Wilshire. And I have no idea how the residents of that area, who by the way paid $1 or $2 for their 1949 bungalow, how they tolerate this. And then the parking is so close that cars are, they're nut to butt. They're bumper to hood. They're trunk to hood. And there was a woman, and this is by the Hollywood DMV where you take your driving test, not the license one. There was a woman. I'm parked in the traffic. I'm just stuck in the traffic. I look to my left, and there is a woman. And she's dropped her sweatpants, and she's hanging on to two people's cars, one by the trunk, one by the frickin' hood, and she is just dropping a deuce right there, right on the road. Just
Don't mind me.
taking the Browns to the Super Bowl, just right there. And nobody's supposed to, I'm not supposed to say a word about it. I'm supposed to tolerate this behavior and say, oh, there, but for the grace of God, go ahead. I don't care if I'm out on my ass and I'm homeless. I'm not going to take the Browns to the Super Bowl in the middle of the day in Hollywood. And LAPD, I don't blame them. They don't dare detain somebody for vagrancy or whatever. But because Garcetti will personally come down, and actually kick them in the balls. And so Los Angeles is done. When you have a mayor who doesn't address this issue, by the way, whoever you are, if you're running for mayor, when this clown leaves his seat, clean up the city, your platform. Everybody will vote for you. Asians, Mexicans, Africans, white people, everybody will vote for you because everybody agrees that someone let the dogs out in Los Angeles, and it's never been this bad, and you become a magnet for homeless people who do nothing but poo on the streets. So stop it. And that's how you get to be mayor. When we come back, it is, and if they're not doing that, they're stabbing you. They're running around stabbing you. Did you see the guy about a month ago who just shoved somebody into a truck?
Right. In front of a truck, yeah.
Guy's sitting on a railing, and a businessman, a man who works, a guy who works for, he worked like at Men's Warehouse or something downtown LA. And he worked for a living, and then he pays taxes to make this entire S show run. And some homeless freak shoved him in front of a truck. The trucker somehow stood on the brakes and stopped from running this guy over. It was miraculous.
Well, isn't that the one where the guy had a collapsed lung?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he should have had two. He should have had a collapsed thorax. But and the guy, of course, the guy was crazy. The 24-year-old man was crazy. There's no reason a 24-year-old man is homeless unless he's crazy. They're paying truck drivers $90,000. You're hearing a spot on this radio station where a plumber can make $100,000. There's no reason a 24-year-old physically fit guy is busy shoving men under trucks unless he's crazy. And it's time somebody separated the wheat from the chaff.
Shame on you.
I want the classic homeless people who have folksy parables and folksy anecdotes. We'll be back right after this. It is A Dark Secret Place, super special sensitive edition on KFI AM 640 More stimulating talk. Michael Chappelle.